record on this computer. Okay, great. Everybody's moved. Everybody can see me. Yes, thumbs up that everybody can see me. Okay, great. Awesome. All right. So thank you so much for coming today. I wanted to, in lieu of National Nutrition Month, I should just say in light of National Nutrition Month, and also St. Patrick's Day, which is going to be next week, we're all going to be going green soon. And what is one of the ways that we can actually go green? Adding some greens onto your plate. Yes, it's so exciting. Now, I'm going to talk today a little bit about why greens are so important, specifically for athletic performance, not only for the general population, but for athletic performance. Before then, I'm actually going to talk about nutrients that athletes need a lot more than the general population. And then I'll go into some of my favorite greens. And then I will give you some little recipe ideas or some little dish ideas for each of them so you can add them to your plate and add a little boost to your nutrition. So with that in mind, my name is Drew Mulvey. I'm a certified dietitian nutritionist in the state of Connecticut. I am a certified LEAP therapist, which is a specific MRT food sensitivity protocol that is about 92% specific and accurate and has been used effectively in one of the treatment options for IBS, migraines, and other inflammatory diseases. I am also a board certified nutrition specialist, a precision nutrition level 1 coach, and a certified personal trainer. So with that in mind, I am targeting the athletic population and those that are very fit because we are under increased amounts of stress and we're going to need a little bit more of certain nutrients as opposed to the general population. Why is this? Because they tend to get depleted under greater amounts of stress. So therefore, we need to be able to have proper nutrition and get all of these in order to have proper recovery and maintain optimal athletic and fitness performance as well. So one of the nutrients that I want to cover first is vitamin C. We all think that vitamin C is necessary for only immunity, right? Well, it's a little bit more than that. Actually, yes, vitamin C is incredibly important for immune function, but it is also a very potent antioxidant. And as athletes, we tend to put a lot of wear and tear on our joints. It's very important as a cofactor in the cross-linking of collagen, so it can really help to support joint health and keep you training optimally. But I like to go back. I talked about a little bit of stress. So added stress on your body, yes, it can be a good thing, but chronically, it can deplete certain nutrients, which I'm talking about now. And with those nutrient depletions, it actually can affect your adrenals as well. So stress can affect your adrenals. Vitamin C is very important for the production of noradrenaline and adrenaline, also known as epinephrine and norepinephrine. Now, you don't want to have too much and you don't want to have too little. Too much, you can get adrenal fatigue because your adrenals are firing because you're under stress. But under chronic stress for long periods of time, those levels can actually be low and you really need vitamin C to be able to push through that pathway. And usually when they're low, that's adrenal burnout, and you don't want to get there. So incorporating little vitamin C into your diet and into your routine is going to be crucial. Magnesium is actually probably, if I were to pick a favorite nutrient, it would be magnesium. So why is that? Well, magnesium is incredibly important, not only for fluid electrolyte balance, because it helps to regulate your heart rhythm, but it also has an effect on your central nervous system. So it really helps to calm you down. That second-handedly can help decrease those cortisol levels, which under increased stress, cortisol tends to be firing off, and under a long period of time, yes, it can be anti-inflammatory for a small amount of time. And initially it is, but for long periods of time, that's an extra stressor on the body and can really add to the wear and tear and really decrease recovery. So you really want to make sure that you balance those cortisol levels. Magnesium, because it has such a calming effect, not only can help with balancing cortisol levels, but can also help with sleep too. Sleep is incredibly important for recovery. So interestingly enough, anything green has magnesium in it. Why is that? Because the chlorophyll compound actually has magnesium right in the middle to give it its green color. So anything that's green, it's going to have magnesium. The next one that I want to cover that tends to be depleted during stressful times are B vitamins. These are critical for energy and they're critical for athletic performance. B1, B2, B3 in particular are very important for energy production because they are actually, and I'm totally going to get a little biological right now and scientific because I am a little bit of a nerd. Okay, so there is a process called the electron transport chain. The electron transport chain is in the mitochondria, which is the energy powerhouse of the cell. Now, that electron transport chain, in order to pass on those electrons to be able to make energy, needs B1, B2, and B3. And then you have a final electron acceptor, which helps with the production of ATP. So it's very important that you're getting enough B vitamins in. Another B vitamin that's especially important when you're under times of stress that gets depleted is vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 is very important for the production of serotonin and melatonin. So serotonin is our well-being neurotransmitter, and melatonin, we think it's just for sleep, but it is a potent antioxidant. I've actually read several articles that it can help with as an anti-cancer compound, and it can also help with muscle recovery after a hard workout too. So you do want to have proper levels of melatonin being produced. B6 is also responsible for the production of niacin, which is B3. So we take tryptophan. Tryptophan is an amino acid. So a protein is made of 20 amino acids, and tryptophan is one of the amino acids. Tryptophan can either be converted with B6 as a cofactor, converted to that B3, which is going to be necessary for energy. But if there is low B6, if you're depleted in that, then the energy pathway or the pathway is actually going to get shunted into creating inflammatory proteins. So these are called xanthorrhinate and kynurenate. Normally, these are manifesting as joint pain because of the inflammation. And there is alternative testing if you do feel like you have inflammation or you do feel that you are not recovering from your workouts or you have joint pain all the time, then I would definitely have you come in and I would run that organic acids test on you to see what's going on, to see if maybe B6 could be what you're depleted in. Very important. It can be a vicious cycle, obviously, but there's other B vitamins that are very important, not only for energy, but for a little thing called methylation. So methylation is part of the detoxification pathway. If you are not detoxifying things properly out of your body, then toxins are going to accumulate. It's going to cause low-grade inflammation, and any sort of low-grade inflammation for a chronic period of time is not only going to lead to potential disease, may lead to potential disease, but can definitely make it very hard for you to recover properly. So there's particular B vitamins that are needed for that process, and it's B12, B6, as I just talked about, and folate, which is very important. So you need to have those B vitamins for that clearance. And later down the road, also homocysteine tends to be elevated, or it's one of the markers that can be elevated in those with potential heart disease or those with issues with their heart. So it's very important that you maintain a healthy balance of those homocysteine levels so they don't get out of control, because if your heart goes, then you're not going to be able to perform as well as you would like. We're getting to the heart of the matter. All right, so another nutrient that I'm going to be covering is calcium. So this one in particular, we think that we have to get a lot more calcium than we may actually need. This has kind of been a slippery slope, but why do we need calcium? Well, it's not only important for our bone health, but it's actually very important for nerve conduction and muscle contraction. So if we don't have a proper amount of calcium, we're actually not going to be recovering well from our workouts, and we're not going to be able to recover with smooth muscle contraction. So we're not going to be able to, it's to prevent muscle cramping, pardon me. Not necessarily recovery, because if you're not contracting properly or you don't have the proper fluid electrolyte balance, then you aren't going to be recovering properly and you're probably going to have very tight muscles. So electrolytes are going to be very important, and calcium is very soothing and can be very calming as well. Actually, I know some people that use calcium and magnesium to help them to sleep at night. So again, we think potassium and magnesium, but calcium can actually prevent that muscle cramping as well. And it's very important also for heart rhythm too. So I just talked about that heart rhythm. It's very important. And your heart, obviously, cardiovascular, very important for athletic performance. The last one that I'm going to be covering is iron. So iron, we talk about that a lot, and I'm actually going to share a little bit about my story. When I was a Division I athlete, I was a diver, I actually became severely anemic. My iron was extremely low and I was fatigued all the time. I couldn't think straight. I was not recovering from my workouts, and at that time I actually had to step down for a bit from diving, not only just because of that, but I had a concussion too, unfortunately. But iron is extremely important for the transport of oxygen around your body. Why is that? Because the hemoglobin in the red blood cell actually carries oxygen from the lungs all the way down to your muscles and your organs. So if you don't have enough iron, then you don't have that oxygen you don't have that component that the oxygen is able to bind to and deliver to your muscles for proper recovery and also for proper function. Then you're going to be feeling a lack of energy as well, probably brain fog, and you're not going to be able to train as well as you want. So iron is very important. Not only is it important for energy, but is also important for the production of ATP, as I was talking before. That's your energy molecule. It's important for detoxification. It is also important for the production of thyroid molecules, which is responsible for your metabolism and how well your body is actually not necessarily breaking down, but with the food that we eat, the metabolism, it's basically how the body is using those calories and effectively how the body is using those calories. But it's also responsible for the production of the neurotransmitter dopamine. Now, dopamine tends to get a bad rap, but it's really not that bad, because if we don't have proper dopamine levels, our focus is going to be off, our mood is definitely going to be down, and our circadian rhythm, so our sleep cycle, can be off. So it's very important that you have balanced levels of dopamine. So with that in mind, how can we fulfill getting some of these nutrients into our diet and really helping with our athletic performance, and particularly with energy and stamina? Those are some of the big things that I covered. Even hormonal health, because magnesium and calcium help to calm you down. B6 actually helps to calm you down too, because it helps with the production of serotonin and melatonin. With all those components, adding greens in can help with your athletic performance and help in all of these areas. Pretty cool, right? So I'm going to share some of my favorite greens, and I'll share some ways that I actually like to use them in my dishes and throughout my day. And then we'll be done with the talk. Isn't that exciting? And then you can go and you can have, I say, a culinary adventure, because I love making new things in the kitchen and I love experimenting. So I hope that this excites you to experiment. So first one that I'm going to cover is kale. So I really like kale for several purposes. Kale is also known as a cruciferous vegetable, which is very important for liver detoxification. Phase 2 liver detoxification. Phase 2 in particular helps to get toxic compounds generated from the first phase of liver detoxification out through either the feces or through the urine. If you are not detoxified, if you're not going through phase 2 properly, then you are not going to be clearing toxins out, and that could potentially create low-grade inflammation. So this is a great component to have to your diet. Some of the nutrients that it contains: there's magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, folate, potassium, copper, and calcium. Interestingly enough, a lot of the greens have calcium, plant-based calcium in them. Next one is spinach. So the nutrients in spinach, these tend to be powerhouses, and we put that in our smoothies. We put that in pretty much, I actually call spinach the gateway green, because if it's hard for you to get vegetables in your diet, you can just sneak this one right in there and you're getting your greens. So I really like spinach because the nutrients, there's potassium, there's vitamin B6, which I was talking about before, is very important to decrease any sort of inflammation and also for your well-being neurotransmitter. So there's vitamin C, folate, vitamin A, and vitamin E, which are also potent antioxidants. Iron for energy. I covered magnesium for calming you down, and calcium, also both of them used in the prevention of muscle cramping. Plus, spinach actually has omega-3 fatty acids. Very interesting fact is that grass is one of the highest, has one of the highest, how do I want to say this? That they have a lot of omega-3s. They have one of the highest contents of omega-3s, but we as humans can't break it down. So for instance, cows, grass-fed cows, they eat grass, they chew, and then they swallow, and then they regurgitate it back up, chew. So they're able to break down that cell wall. And that is why grass-fed meat tends to be high in omega-3s. Interesting fact. But yes, spinach is a good source, is one of the sources of omega-3 fatty acids. Interesting enough. But there might be a downfall of spinach. Spinach is also very high in oxalates. So oxalates can actually not only produce kidney stones, but it can also lodge in your adrenals and it can lodge in your muscles if you have an issue with them. Now, if that sounds like something that you are interested in, if that sounds like something that you're going through, then I would definitely get tested. And that organic acids test actually measures the amount of oxalates that are in your body. So that'll give you a general indication if spinach maybe needs to be off your plate for the green. But next one is Swiss chard. So Swiss chard, there could be rainbow chard too. I think this is one of the most colorful ones. And this is really fun too, because you can get the different colors in with the green. Swiss chard is a great source of magnesium, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, potassium, manganese, which is also important for energy metabolism, iron for energy, calcium for preventing muscle cramping, and also copper. So I talked about that before. That is very important for vitamin C in the production of noradrenaline and adrenaline, which is part of your adrenal health. Copper is also very important for that. And it's very important as for your immunity as well. So next one, arugula. Arugula contains magnesium, vitamin C, folate, and calcium. So folate, again, you need that for your energy pathways. You need that for proper detoxification. Now, what I really like in particular about arugula is that arugula is considered a bitter green. So this helps the body actually to digest proteins a lot better because it helps with the production of hydrochloric acid. Personally, I love arugula salad. It's one of my favorites. I know that some people don't like that bitterness, but that bitterness is really good for the production of hydrochloric acid and that digestion. Another thing that is also very good as a bitter and for hydrochloric acid production are dandelion leaves. They contain magnesium, potassium, copper, again, good for immunity and good for the adrenals, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, and folate for immunity, for joints, and for energy and detoxification. One thing I really like about dandelion leaves is once May comes, you've got dandelions everywhere. So I would suggest going foraging in the forest and getting some of those dandelion greens. They are delicious. You can saute them with a little bit of garlic and olive oil, a little salt and pepper in there. They are amazing. They can be a little bit bitter. So if you are kind of, if you don't like too many bitter things, then I would throw it in something and saute it with other things. We also have romaine lettuce. Yes, that's not iceberg lettuce, but romaine lettuce. There are actually plenty of nutrients in romaine lettuce. So there's vitamin A, there's vitamin B1 and B2. As I had mentioned previously, B1 and B2 are incredibly important for energy production. Vitamin C for immunity and also joint health. We've got vitamin D. Interesting. And vitamin D is essential for immunity. It's also the sunshine nutrient as well. There's vitamin K, There is folate, again, for energy and detoxification, manganese, chromium, potassium, and iron. So it's going to help you with your energy in so many different ways. All right, some of the ways that I really like to use these, I throw kale in a smoothie sometimes, but if you do have any sort of thyroid issues, the cruciferous vegetables, when they are eaten raw, they do contain goitrogens, and goitrogens can compete at your thyroid molecule with other halogens. So you want to limit the amount of raw, if not eliminate the amount of raw cruciferous vegetables that you have in your diet if you have any thyroid issues. But sometimes I throw them in my smoothies when I can handle that. But most of the time I throw them in chilies, I throw them in soups. I just saute them. Pretty much all the greens, I love sauteing with some garlic and adding in there. One of the fun ways that you can enjoy kale is making kale chips. And they're so easy. You just throw a little bit of coconut oil on them and a little bit of salt and pepper, put them in the oven for about 10 minutes. And then you've got these crispy little guys that you can dip in hummus. You can dip, actually, I personally love this, avocados. That's my favorite. Some ways that spinach, as I said, is the gateway green. It's excellent in smoothies if you do not have a problem with oxalates, as you really do not taste it. Swiss chard does have a little bit more of a bitter taste, but I like to saute it with other vegetables and some meat and put it on top of some pastas. I think it's really good that way. Arugula, same thing. Arugula salads with a little bit of beets can be really good. If you have high oxalates, you wanted to stay away from those too, but arugula salad or sauteing arugula, I've even put them sometimes in soups. So dandelion leaves, I don't think that I've ever had them raw. You can throw them on salads, but I always cook these. So saute them with a little garlic and olive oil and salt and pepper. And then romaine lettuce, you can make little romaine lettuce tacos. You can use it as the bun. We see that commonly in many different restaurants, that you use romaine lettuce as the bun instead of having an actual bun. You can use them in salads. I haven't really tried romaine lettuce in a smoothie yet, so I will have to get back to you on that one. But according to the taste, it might be a little earthy if you put it in something. All right, with that in mind, I'm going to recap. So if you are an active or athletic female, there are specific nutrients that you are going to need more of because you're placing a lot more stress on your body. When you're placing a lot more stress on your body, then you tend to have more depletions of certain nutrients. So some of those nutrients that you really want to pay attention to help with that athletic performance and to keep maintaining that optimal athletic performance are vitamin C, particularly good for your joints, magnesium, which calms down the central nervous system and prevents muscle cramping, B vitamins for energy, calcium also for prevention of muscle cramping, and iron. And by adding greens, you can fulfill almost all those components. As I was reading, a lot of them, pretty much all of them had vitamin C in them. All of them have magnesium as well, and most of them have iron. So with that in mind, if that feels like you, if you are an active or athletic female, overachieving, if you feel like you have problems with energy pathways, if you're looking to balance hormones, if you're looking to improve your gut health, if you're looking to even prevent symptoms of autoimmunity, so try to get in any sort of inflammation under wraps so that it doesn't lead to something, or you want to really repair your relationship with food so that you see it as fuel and you get the most nutrient dense options into your diet and also enjoy a little bit here and there too, come see me. I would absolutely love to work with you. I've had a lot of experience, even my own experience, and from my own experience and the knowledge that I've gained from my master's program and over the years from practicing, I know that I can help you and I am here to get you to where you want to be. So if that sounds like you can sign up on my website at redeeminglifenutrition.com and sign up for my newsletter. I will get back to you. We can schedule an icebreaker call. There is also a direct link if you go to my shop page on Redeeming Life Nutrition www.ladiesnutrition.com/shop. There is the link for the icebreaker call on there. Also, if you are on Instagram, it is available in my bio. If you would like to schedule an icebreaker call, if you are facing any sort of these health concerns, I would absolutely love to work with you so I can get you in for that alternative testing and then really getting you the proper diet that you need to maintain your optimal fitness and athletic performance. With that in mind, thank you so much, everybody, for coming today. And I hope that you really enjoy this. I would love to hear how you use your greens. So if you do end up throwing greens in something in the next week, please tag me in your stories and give me a shout out. So at whole.fit.ladies.nutritionist. Shout me out, and I would love to see your creations. With that in mind, I hope that everybody has a wonderful day, and I really hope that you enjoyed this talk. Take care.